Hey, before the video starts, I would like to just quickly just say thanks for the support in the recent video. And also, I'm not the greatest at presenting, so I'm sorry if you guys, if there's times where you can't really understand what I'm saying. But I think the best way of going about this is by watching what I'm doing, understanding what I'm doing to your best, and then doing it yourself. That's the best way of learning. Anyway, so I just enjoyed the video, and yeah, thanks for listening. Hey, welcome back to the episode 2 of the series. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do how to use arguments in chat. So after you type a command, you can type space and argument, and it will process the data, and depending on what you need, it will use it. And then I will also show you guys how to use key presses, how to listen out for key presses, and yeah, that would be it for today. Relatively simple stuff, but at the moment we're just trying to get the basics done before we move into more advanced topics like ESX and other stuff like that. So just the basics is normal. So we're going to create the normal files. We're only going to be interacting with ourselves, our own character, so we will not need server.lua. So we have a client LUA and an FX manifest. So I'm going to open up the FX manifest, and I'm just going to do usually what I normally do. So I'm just going to close down this. These are just stuff that I'm working on. So I'm just going to close this down and just paste in the template, which is linked in the description if you don't have it. Alright, so this is in. The one thing I would want to point out, I did not address this in the last video, but it's important just so you guys understand. FX_version, it mightn't be, depending on when you're watching this, mightn't be bodacious, sorry. But just use the most updated version. So if this says, flamingo, use flamingo, because that is the most updated version. Then you can just leave this. So I went over this in the last video. If you're stuck, just go back over the last video really quickly, and then we'll open up the client.lua in here. So first off, we're going to start off registering a command, so we can spawn a vehicle. So I'm going to register a command. You guys should know how to do this at this point. So register command, quotations, and then name. So I'm going to do vehicle. The reason I'm doing vehicle is just because there's another thing I have on my server at the moment, and yeah, it would overlap and it wouldn't work. So now this is a new part. Inside function, you're going to want to put source, comma, args. So source means the source character, basically means your character, and args means the arguments you put in. And the arguments returns a hash table, I believe it's called. And basically, if I was to say, hello world, it would make a hash table like this. So basically, to retrieve in any code, to retrieve it, this would be 1 and this would be 2. Now, in most code, it's actually, this is 0 and this is 1, but in LUA it's different. This is 1 and this is 2. So if I wanted to retrieve world, I would type args. In close square brackets, I would type 2, and that would retrieve world. I hope you understand that well. I don't know if I explained that great, but register command vehicle. Now I'm going to show you guys the natives. This is the natives. It's a website for basically anything you need to interact with GTA 5 functions, anything, creating vehicles, setting your entity coordinates, aka teleporting. All of that is going to be found in here. So if you want to find set entity chords, that will be found here. But we're doing create vehicle. To create a vehicle, we also need to do a thing called request a model. And you need to request a model anytime you load anything in to anywhere. So if you're requesting an entity, like if you want to spawn in a hammer in the game, you would need to request a model first off to load it into your memory. Here's a little description: request a model, load it into the memory. Alright, so what we want to do, we type request model, and then it's looking for the model hash. So up here we enter and we type a thing called a local. A local is basically any definition of a variable. So in coding, there's things called variables, and use it to define your say car name. So car is equal to so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do local car is equal to args1, because when I type over here /vehicle and I want an adder, this is the arguments, and this would be 1 because it starts at 1. If I typed adder cheetah and I wanted a cheetah, I would type 2, but that wouldn't make sense because it wouldn't be dynamic. It would only be in a use case scenario like this where you type 2 different model names and you'd only want the second one retrieved. Now you can put spaces in between, but you'd have to concatenate them, and we'll go over that in the future, but that's not a video for now. So I want an adder in the game, so it's going to request model, and then there's another native called get hash key. You can find it inside the natives, but just trust me for here. Get hash key. So in here there's another native called has model loaded. So this is to check if the model is loaded, and all you need to do is type while not has model loaded, and then in here we want to do car, or is it looking? It's looking for a hash, so we'll do take this away, and right here surround this with get hash key, and then car. So basically what I did here is I just instead of getting hash key twice, the local variable, I just got the hash key of it there, so I only need to get the hash key once instead of getting it twice. It just makes it more optimized. Anyway, so this is called a while loop. So let me just finish it off and I'll explain it. So do a while not has model loaded do, and it's basically self-explanatory. It means while the model has not loaded do, right? I think it's citizen dot wait, and you have to put like 1, right? And basically all this does is it prevents this from crashing, because if you do a while loop without a citizen dot wait, it goes so fast that your memory gets overpowered something. Anyway, it gets over full, and it will crash the game for you. So you always have to do a citizen dot wait, always. If you ever have your game crash, make sure you do have a citizen dot wait. Otherwise your game will crash if you don't have one. It's just you get used to it. But yeah, while has model loaded, request model. Now that we waited, and this says while the model has not loaded, request the model do, and it waits. So what we're going to do again is we're going to repeat this. We're going to request model car, and what this means is while the model has not loaded, request the car. So it's just going to constantly request the car until it's loaded, and when it is loaded we will have the car. So we can do up here create vehicle. So create vehicle. Now it takes in a couple parameters: the model hash, the X, the Y, and the Z. Then it takes in the heading, is network, and net mission entity. It's requesting the hash up here. So since the model has loaded, and it says while the model has not loaded, it'll constantly request it, and it won't carry on until it's loaded. It will not carry on because it's still requesting. It says while it's not loaded, requested. So it will not carry on until it's requested. Basically, we want to type in car, and then comma. So it's requesting the X, Y, and Z. So what we do here is we type local X, Y, Z, a dash in between each of them to separate them as different variables. So this is the exact same thing as typing local X, local Y, local Z. But this is just a faster way of doing it, because if I was to type, say, 3, 5, 5, 9, in this order, it would do X is equal to 3, Y is equal to 5, Z is equal to 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to type table.unpack. In parentheses, we're going to type get entity chords. And then we have two options. So we can do player ped ID, which is this one, or we can do get player ped. Oh, get player ped. So you can use two of them. It doesn't really matter, but usually I do player ped ID. I'll show you how to use both of them, just so you know. I'm going to use player ped ID for this situation. Right. So it gets the coordinates of player ped ID, and then it'll unpack it into. So basically, it returns like this: X is equal to, say, 3, Y is equal to 4, Z is equal to 9. And what the table unpack does is it basically removes these comments. Not comments, remove these keys. And it says this basically. So that's the same as what I showed you just a few seconds ago. X is equal to this, Y is equal to this, and Y is equal to this. I hope that makes sense to you. So we can also do here, instead of player ped ID, like I mentioned, get player ped. And it requires an argument. In here, it requires an argument. So you can see here the player index. So if you were to use this on a server, you could request for. You would use this if you were getting someone else's player ped, or you could get the local player ped by typing -1. But I find it better to do player ped ID. So if you want to follow exactly what I'm doing, player ped ID will work fine. I don't have a particular preference really. I heard that it's faster. I don't understand. I don't know if it is, but I heard it's faster. So it's requesting that we need the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So we fill in X, Y, and Z, like we have up here. The X, Y, and Z coordinates. The only issue is sometimes the cars will spawn in the middle of the ground. So what we want to do is we want to offset the Z by plussing. Like this is basic maths. We'll plus, say, 0.25. And then on the Y, we will plus 2, and we'll leave the X as it is. Now what happens, what this says it will plus 2 units from the player on the Y axis, which is, I believe it's in front of you. And then the Z is up and down, as to the up and down direction. So it will plus it on 0.25 units up above the ground. So technically it'll be floating for a second, but it's not a big issue. Now what it's looking for is it's looking for the heading. So we can do multiple ways of doing this. We can just preset heading 0. Heading is the direction, like in a compass, 0 to 360. You can do all that, but we can either do 0 or we can get the entity heading. So basically get whichever way your character is looking. So here we go. Get entity heading. Parentheses player ped ID. So the reason we need player ped ID is because we need a source. So because we're calling this twice, we can actually remove this. It's better to remove it. And then up here, we'll type local player source is equal to player ped ID. So we can do in here player source and player source. So what it does now is it will get the direction the entity, aka your player, is looking, and it will spawn the car in that direction. So go back to create vehicle, and then we have 2 more parameters: is network and mission entity. Is network basically means will the other players be able to see it, and we want that to be true because you don't want to ghost vehicles, so true. Net entity mission. Now that is just dependent on, is it a mission vehicle? Usually it's going to be false. It's just usually is false. And here we go, we have our code. There shouldn't be any issues with this, and we'll try out in game at the moment. So 2 seconds, we'll go back in game now. Okay guys, so I'm in game now, and I'm going to test out the command. So /vehicle adder, and it creates the vehicle right here, adder. Now, there's multiple ways we can do to make this better. We can just make the vehicle, we make the character teleport into the vehicle. But I want to get onto the ragdoll key. So just to show one more thing, I'm looking this direction and it's pointing this direction. So the get entity heading does work. Alright, so to listen out for input in FiveM, we need to write a thing called citizen.create thread. I think we might have taught this in the last video, I'm not 100% certain. But I don't exactly know why we need this, but we do need it. And then just do a while true end. So like I discussed up here, we need to do a citizen.wait. And we'll do 50 on this one. Basically, the more you wait, the better your performance will be, but also you need to find a good median because you don't want to have delay. So I'm going to do 50 millisecond delay. So while true, it's going to constantly, because it's always going to be true. It's never going to be false. It's always going to be true. So while true, if we do an if statement. So if is control just released, and in parentheses. So you can find that on the natives up here. So is control just released right there. You can do press to release, but I do release is my preference. And you can see it looks for an input group and a control. Usually the input group is going to be 1 or 0. It just depends. I do 1 just because I want it to be 1. So if you go into the link in the description below, you will find a controls wiki. This has everything you could need, but today I'm going to go over the controls part. So if you pick a key, any key you want to make the character fall over, ragdoll. In this case, I'm going to choose the square bracket. So I'm going to look for a square bracket. Here, find square bracket here, and up here is a list of numbers. Whichever you don't type square bracket, you type the number. So this is a 116. That's the the number of this. So I want to type 116, which is here. So if 116 is pressed, which is the square bracket, and then you type then, THEN, and then you type enter end. So inside this block is what's going to happen if you press square bracket. What we want to do is we want to go back to the natives and type actually I have up there. So ragdoll, set ped to ragdoll. Okay. So right here it says different types of ragdolls. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So basically 0 is a normal ragdoll, so we're going to use 0 in this case. You'll see these stuff a lot in coding. P4, well, scripting in FiveM, P4, P5, P6. Usually they won't know what it means, so you can usually just do true, true, false, whatever it tells you. It will say here usually what it says. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this function and bring it into Visual Studio Code. Copy it, and in here paste it in, or you can type it in, but just quicker. Okay, so it requires the parameters ped time 2, and ragdoll type, then these. So I'm going to do ped first. So ped is player ped ID, right? We discussed this. Or get player ped -1. So a time is in milliseconds. The way GTA operates is a time is in milliseconds. So for every 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. Okay. So I want to make the character ragdoll for 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. That's 5 seconds. Okay, 5,000 milliseconds, 5 seconds. Okay. I would just do 0. I have no idea what it means, so I would put 0 to see how it works. All right. And then ragdoll type. I want to do 0 because I want a normal ragdoll. I don't want like a drunk, stiff ragdoll, you know, wobbly legs, all that. I want a normal ragdoll. And then we're going to do true, true, false for P4, P5, and P6. So I'm going to do 0, true, true, false. Okay. So that's it. That's as simple as that. So 3, 2, 1, press. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get up. There we go. 5 seconds. That's all for this video. Another video will be out tomorrow. I just have to figure out what to do for it, to be honest. So if you have any suggestions, leave it below. If you're looking to join a community, I'm actually working on one at the moment, and the link for it will be in the description below. And yeah, it's not a coding community, it's a FiveM community. As you can see, I'm on the server right now. It's in development. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.